Hey, how's it going? I'm Chris with PearsonCopy.com, and I'm here to help your brand make more sales with email. As part of my 100 emails in a 100 days breakdown challenge, I'm breaking down an abandoned cart email from a pet brand called Paw5. I believe it's a play on the word pause, but it's called Paw5. This is the, I believe, third email in their abandoned cart sequence. I signed up for their email list, created an account, and then went through the process of essentially getting their abandoned cart by adding stuff to my cart and not buying. So, forgive me for triggering the abandoned cart in PAW5, but I figured going through your abandoned cart would be a pretty cool breakdown for everybody involved that's watching. So, with that being said, I'll go ahead and dive into this email. Again, this is an abandoned cart. I believe this is email number 3. So with that context, we're going to break down this email, pull some insights out, and then hopefully you can take that back to your brand and use that in your own abandoned cart sequence. So let me go ahead and dive in and break this email down. First, we're going to start with, actually, zooming in doesn't work. Let me actually start with, let's start with the subject line here. I was just trying to zoom in there on the doc or the PDF. 50% off the snuffle mat is almost up. So the item that I actually added to my cart is a snuffle mat. So them getting the products into the subject line, that's some dynamic or liquid code there. I think that's really unique. I don't see a lot of brands doing this very often. Is actually putting the product name in the subject line. Now, can you use this if you have multiple products in a cart? Probably. And it'll probably just pull the first one. You can write some custom code to do that, or if it can't do that, then it's only going to work on cards that only have one item in them when they get abandoned. So I think that's one unique because you're actually putting the product in the subject line. And then the second thing is the actual, well, there's 3 things about the subject line, but the second thing is the 50% off. That's the offer. So they're offering a percentage off for you to actually complete your purchase. So this is not like in a welcome series where you say 10% off your first order. This is you haven't completed your cart. They've already sent me 2 emails, and the third email is a percentage off. So in some cases, you can do that. You can send 1, 2, 3 emails trying to get people to finish or complete their cart and complete their purchase, and then emails 4 and 5 you can offer percentages off and tier that. So you can do like 10% on the 4th email, and then maybe 15 or 20% on the 5th email, just to try and get that completion of the cart. This type of strategy with the embedding cart, it's one of many. But it's usually more focused on getting people to buy to create customers as it is to instead of actually building trust and starting the relationship off with an emotional connection as opposed to a transactional connection. So this strategy does work. It can work very well, but we just have to know that if somebody comes into the relationship on transaction basis saying they only bought because it was 50% off and that's the only time they bought, just because the code was there, you're literally setting them up to say, I'm only going to buy if you send me a code. If they like your products, they may come back and buy. But if they don't, or they're neutral, if they don't like your products or they're neutral, the only time their brain's going to say, hey, you should buy this is if there's a code. So just know that you're priming people with every emotional decision they make. Most people buy on emotion. That's pretty common. And then they justify it with logic later so they can deal with their purchase remorse or buyer's remorse, right? Just know that if you're priming newer customers to only buy when there's a code, that's gonna give you an extra uphill battle on the back end when you're actually sending them newsletters, sending them promos, doing launches for products or anything like that. They're going to be stuck in, if it's not a code, I'm not buying mode, and we don't want to do that. So just be aware that if you are using a strategy, that could take place. It doesn't happen all the time, but it can. So if you have in your abandoned browser or abandoned cart sequences, you're offering coupon codes to get them to complete that purchase, and yet those customers aren't buying on the back end once they're on your list after the purchase, that could be one of the reasons why. The next piece, I think my PDF just pulled this awkwardly or wrong, but we have the brand name and essentially their logo, which I think ultimately this is great because they have their offer right here at the top with a demonstration of the product. So they have their brand, which is like, hey, Paw5 or Paws, you're in the right spot. And then the last day to say 15%. So this is the urgency. Well, I guess I can go back to the subject line here. Let me go back. So the last thing on the subject line is the urgency. So you have the offer, you have the product, and the urgency is it's almost up. So you're getting people to act on the fact that they're going to lose something. So loss aversion is more powerful than pleasure gain. So people typically will do more to not lose something versus gain something. So if they're going to lose something, they're going to they're going to do more to not lose it versus gain something. And what that means is you can use urgency where it's relevant and it actually applies. If you use fake urgency, Your customers will know. They're smart. They're not dumb. But if you use actual urgency of this is the last chance, the last day you're going to get this 50% off, and then we're getting rid of it forever. You can never go back and get it. And you have that set up in your business. That's actual real. That's real urgency. So you can actually use that. Now, if you're to say this is the last time you're going to get 50% off, and then 2 days later you say, "Oh, just kidding. We're going to give it to you just in case you missed it." That's not real urgency. That's fake urgency, and people are they're gonna look negatively towards your brand because of that. It might be a small thing, and it might be like, "Oh, it's not really a big deal," but they are going to file that away as this brand negatively tried to get me to buy, and I don't like that. So I'm not saying Paw5 is doing this. They're not doing this. This is the third email they sent, and I do believe that this is the last day that I can get this 15% off. They've done nothing otherwise to make me think that they're doing something shady. So just want to clarify that. But yeah, the three things in the subject line: 50% off, which is the offer; the product is the snuffle mat, which they dynamically placed; and then the urgency of almost up. And that ties back into the last day to save 50% with the offer here. So you have your brand, the offer, and then you have a demonstration. So a demonstration of the product. So a dog here is actually using the snuffle mat. It is a static image when it was in my email, but showing people what this product is, what it's actually going to do for the dog or for the client, for the customer, etc. It's very powerful, even though it's a static image. So if they're not really sure how a dog may use the snuffle mat, having a picture of a dog actually using it, or just being a part of it, could help them close that loop on oh, that's how the dog uses it. Or you can put your food in it and they go searching for it, etc. So I think this is a great, if you're to use visuals, this is a great way to do it. Brand to remind them that they're there, the offer, and then the demonstration of the product here after the offer. Moving down the email, now we have the shop now 15% off. So that's a CTA that's not linked anywhere, but it's a CTA, and it's more like a command to say, hey, let's shop now with this coupon. In the copy below, they say, hey, Chris, which they personalize, and then they use a bad news, good news mechanism here. So they say, hey, first the bad news, your offer, your VIP discount, which this is something I would question here, is I've never purchased anything from them. They're calling me VIP, or they're calling the discount VIP. So I did not read the other two emails. They may have explained what the VIP discount is, or what it entails. But this is the first time I've ever seen this when it comes to the VIP discount from Paw5. So this is something I would consider doing with your copy. Is each time you mention the VIP discount, I would explain in a couple words or a line of what that actually entails. Our VIP customers are the only ones who get these discounts, and we wanted to offer to you one time just to know what it's like to buy from us. That right there is the offer. And what it does for you, and the reason why it exists. The reason why copy. So reason why. You make a statement, you explain what it does and how it works, and then why it matters. That type of mechanism, or that type of packet when it comes to copy, it closes the loop for people. Because for me, my loop is open. The loop is open for me. I'm saying VIP discount. Okay, well, what does that mean? Can I get it again? What if I don't use it this time? How do I become a VIP? There's a whole open loop of things, of questions that I could be asking, that I am asking myself, because I don't know what a VIP discount is from Paw5. So using that reason why packet or reason why copy actually closes those loops and moves people to the next line without them, with a lesser chance of them asking more questions and causing more objections that you have to address to get them to actually take an action. So that's something to consider here, is reason why copy. Now, with that being said, the good news, the bad news, good news mechanism here with their copy, they're saying bad news, your VIP discount expires today. Great, that's the offer. They just mentioned it. You're reiterating it, and that's the bad news. That's fine. Saying bad news and good news and being honest and transparent with people actually builds trust. So I think it's a good move. Now the good news, there's still time to use it. Head to our store now and enter code, etc. at checkout to take 50% off the snuffle mat. So two things here. I think the bad news, good news, that's a good move. That's a great way to do it. The second thing is the code here. I do understand the worry that if you take one code and make that the code you're using for abandoned carts, that people will just keep using it over and over again. The thing you can do in most in Shopify, and even in Klaviyo or most other softwares, is you can make a code one use only. So you could put in abandon, or whatever the code is. So let's say buy now 15, and that's your 15% off for your abandoned carts. It can expire. It doesn't have to expire. It can expire. It can have a limited use of one per customer. And like I said, it has an expiration to a certain date. You can set that stuff up to automatically run. So you don't have to create a randomly generated code for these emails for them to work. The one caveat there too, the one caveat there with why I think they did the randomly generated code is, if somebody uses this the first time, waits 2 months, and then does the abandoned cart again and gets the same email, they're going to get that same code if you set it as static as opposed to randomly generated, which means if they've already used it, they can't use it again. So that's a barrier you can run into. So knowing how your codes work, how you set them up, and how they work and how they function, That's something that you need to make sure you know about before you start setting these codes. But you can do a static code, and you can use it. You can set up your automation so that they only run at a certain time, and you only get these two, discount codes in the abandoned cart if people do certain things or meet certain parameters. You can set it up to where you can use a static code. But the reason they're using the randomly generated is probably for that first reason is every time somebody goes through the abandoned cart, they need a new generated code so they don't get the same one that they've already used before. With that being said, I think that using codes like this that don't auto apply, if you click through, like get the supplement button here at the bottom. So if they click the CTA, it should take them to their cart. This is a tracking link. I'd assume it does. But if they click this link, it should take them to their cart and it should auto apply the code. They shouldn't have to enter it. If you make it so that it auto applies, then you can actually set it up so you don't have to create randomly generated codes. You can just do a static code or a very simple code that people can remember to use. And if you make it auto apply, then you don't have to actually create a code at all. You can just say, hey, if you click this button, it gives you the code in the checkout in the cart, and they don't have to remember anything. So there's different ways to do this. There's different ways to give people codes, but that's just more of a technical thing to consider when you're actually building these codes out. And then another piece here in the copy. So you have the bad news, good news, and then they actually give a bigger reason why you should buy. So they talk about the products being made in Ghana by workers who we provide with training, life skills, and quality employment. So first thing, one thing, just really small technical thing is this is passive voice. So I would update this instead of saying each one is made in Ghana by workers who we provide with training, life skills, and quality employment. I would say Ghana workers in Ghana make these products. We also provide them training, life skills, and quality employment so they can live better lives and improve whatever. Like the passive voice in this is actually taking the power out of you saying that you help people in Ghana by buying and producing products there, making it active voice, where the subject acts with the verb as opposed to the verb acting on the sub or the object acting on the subject. It gives the sentence, it's more active, and it gives it more power, and it gives it more resonance when people are reading it. It doesn't take as much work to read it either. Passive voice takes a lot of work because you have to puzzle everything together of these are all the pieces of the sentence, and I have to say, okay, what's the subject, what's the verb, what's the object, etc. And if you do an active voice, that's all in a sequence, in the actual proper sequence that the brain and most English speaking English readers have done their whole lives. So if you break that frame and you break that sequence, it makes it harder for them to read. So using active voice in this sense would definitely make the sentence stronger, and you're probably going to get more of an emotional reaction here to this copy. But yeah, so that's more of a technical thing. The bigger picture here is they're mentioning their workers in Ghana who take care of this stuff for them, who make the supplements and everything, and they pay them. I think it's a good move. I think that showing where this stuff comes from, where it's sourced, and how you source it is a good thing. And I would test different pieces of copy here, like the workers in Ghana versus ethically sourced versus etc. You can test different things here to see if some of these social efforts and business efforts will actually resonate to get people to click on this button more to complete their purchase. So I'm assuming Paw5 already does this, but I would test just this piece of copy, this paragraph here, with different social efforts to see which one resonates the most. And then they have another shop now to use your discount CTA. And then again, they have their CTA for get a Snufflemat with 15% off. So they're dynamically entering Snufflemat in to this code here to the button, or they have built out an abandoned cart sequence. And this is something else too with the subject line, is they've built out an abandoned cart sequence specifically for the Snufflemat because it could be one of their most popular products. So if it's like if 80% of their sales comes from 20% of their products, the Snufflemat could be one of those 20% products, which means they built their own abandoned cart out just for that product. And you can do that. If you have 3, 5, 6 products that are just top sellers, you can build abandoned carts just for those solo products. And then you can have a general abandoned cart that covers everything else. That is one way that you can actually test into which products, how you can offer different things in an abandoned cart to actually sell your products at a higher rate, at a higher take rate, basically. So you can offer 10, 15, 20% off. You can do account credit. You can offer bundles. You can do all different kinds of stuff if you separate out individual products for sequences. The final thing here, I believe this is a tracking link, so I can't tell. But if you click this should go back to the cart where all you have to do is enter your shipping and payment information, and the code should be auto-applied, not that you have to enter it. And you can click right to the cart, and they can complete their purchase in a couple of clicks. Having to enter it is going to be an issue because they have to copy and paste and enter it. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it can be an issue. And trying to remember this or copy and paste, it just means they have to go back and forth more often. it could cause some friction. They may leave because it's too difficult for them, or it's just an inconvenience. Where if you click the button, take it to the cart, and auto apply it, it's going to be way easier for somebody to enter their shipping and payment information. And with the way things are going with your payment processors that are offering, autofill and save your credit card and all that stuff, adding more steps to them completing their purchase is going to create more friction, which means they're not going to buy, or they're going to reconsider it, which means they may not buy eventually. So just something to consider here with how you set this stuff up technically. And then we have the item from the cart. Again, this should go to the cart. I would imagine it does, because you have the item here, and this link is tracked as well. I would imagine that goes to the cart as well. And then Paw5 has here essentially the features of buying from them, and they have 6 main features. I'm not really sure on PDF did vertical. It could be vertical in their email. I'm not really sure if it is or not, but they did 6 vertical and they did 6 horizontal. These are all the same features, so I'll just do 6 horizontal here. I like the way horizontal looks better than vertical. It's just easier on the eyes because you're reading left to right. And then they also have their risk reversal or their guarantee. So the features of buying and then their guarantee. So the guarantee is if our product doesn't hold up, simply notify us within 30 days of your purchase date and you receive an immediate hassle-free refund. So this is a risk reversal. This is saying, hey, you can get the product, try it for 30 days. And before that 30 days is up, if you let us know, we'll give you a refund, and we'll take care of you. This takes the risk out of somebody buying something from you if it's their first time, which I think the copy here is way too small. I think this guarantee needs to be somewhere up here in the good news, bad news, or bad news, good news. So good news, here's the code. And then also, by the way, our guarantee is 30-day hassle-free refunds, also Ghana workers, et cetera, social impact. So I think this is hidden. This is hidden too far down, especially if you're trying to get them to buy. And this is the third email. You want to take as much risk and as much just as much risk out of the purchase as possible, so it's super easy for them to buy, and there's not a lot of confusion or friction for them to do that. The next piece here, it looks like a related product. So this is like a puzzle product. The snuffle mat is I would consider a puzzle product for dogs. They're digging through it, trying to find their food. This is similar. So this is called a rock and bowl. And you put food in and they have to move this thing around to get the food out and eat it. So it's another related product in like the puzzle category, if you want to call it that. And they offer that down here. Now, something that's interesting here is if this button up here and this, I would assume this goes to the cart. This link here, this title, this link here goes to the cart. This button goes to the cart. I'd assume this snuffle mat goes to the cart as well. It's tracked. Where does this rock and bowl go? Does it add it to the cart? Does it go to that product so you can add it to your cart and keep going? Like, what does this do? So if you're going to suggest products in an abandoned cart like this, you have to take into account, like, if the customer is going to restart their buying process or restart their checkout process to add an item, that could be a thing. So and if this is the third email, so if this is like the last email before they try to get me to buy or try to get the customer to buy, adding a related item may not be the best move, because that takes them away from actually clicking once, autofilling or filling out their info, putting the code in, and then checking out and completing the purchase. That's the goal. So don't distract them with something like this. Now, if you're going to use like abandoned browser and do related products, if you're going to do the first 2 or 3 emails of abandoned cart and not offer a coupon code, then yeah, sure, put some related items. But if you're going direct for the sale, and this is a pretty direct email when it comes to trying to get the sale, I would not use related products in this and just try to get them to buy the snuffle mat. And then the last 2 pieces here, we have the socials, you have the menu, your address and phone number, as well as their mission and value statement down here at the bottom. So with that being said, that's the breakdown for this. The big insights here. So I think there's 3 big insights. 1, the subject line is pretty powerful. You have your offer, you have your products, and then you have your urgency. They use urgency in this email for the last day to save 15% off. I think that's the first big thing, is like the subject line and the urgency. That's the combo right there. The second thing is this image and the dog using the product. That's a demonstration. So using that more often, either with copy or if you're doing visuals, show demonstration of product as opposed to just random images of people or dogs or whatever. Showing the product being used is super powerful and helpful. That's the second thing. The third thing I would say is the copy here is pretty strong. I would work on active voice. I would potentially rework how we do the codes for the abandoned cart. And then the VIP discount, I would explain that just a little bit and say, okay, this is what it is. This is how it works. And this is why it matters to you. Because that's a new concept I haven't seen yet. And expanding on that's going to help me buy in more and trust you more, because you're actually showing me what this actually means for me. And then the final 4th insight, if you're going direct for sale and you want the cart to close, you want to complete that purchase, I would not add related products or anything to take them backwards in the process to restart checkout. If you are literally 2 clicks away from completing a purchase with a customer, don't offer them related. Your upsells have already happened. They've already gone through the checkout process, and your upsells have already been offered. You could do upsells on the checkout if they go click through and actually go for the snuffle mat, but I wouldn't do this with an email just because it might restart the process. It could cause friction and confusion of like, well, I just want to buy one thing. Why are you offering me this? It could put some more barriers in the way that don't have to be there. So I would consider not using this. So yeah, those are the 4 big insights. As a part of, and just as a reminder, this is a part of my 100 emails 100 days breakdown challenge. You can check out my other videos. As at the time of this recording of this video, this is number 63. So there's over 60 videos you can take in, review, pull some insights out, take those back to your brand and make more sales with email. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good one.